Hi guys and girls, another tutorial for you. This one was a request. Somebody asked for a particle system for falling leaves. So we're going to work on that. I'm only going to be using two textures and a static mesh for this. The reason I'm using a mesh is because I want a particular kind of rotation. If we weren't using a mesh, the image would always be facing the camera and would only rotate on one axis, and that's not what we want. I want to be able to make these rotate on multiple axes so they look a bit more realistic. So the textures that we're going to use are a diffuse that I've just found on Google, a normal map generated from bitmap to material, and then just a plane that I've added a couple of crimps to, just so that you can never really tell that this is a flat plane while it's falling. So the first thing we're going to do is right click and we'll create a new material. This is going to be leaf_m. Just move my phone out of the way because I just leant on it and it vibrated. We'll open this up and we'll grab our diffuse and our normal and drag these in. We'll plug our normal straight into the normal. Let's just make this planar so we can see this. There you go, nice normal. And then we'll plug our diffuse into the base color. We're going to change the material to be a translucent default lit material, and we're going to change the lighting mode from volumetric non-directional to volumetric directional, which lets us use a normal map with a translucent material. So we don't have any opacity in there, so we're just going to take the alpha channel and plug that into the opacity, and that should give us a nice leaf. Yay! It's very leafy. Now, if we turn this into a ball real quick, so you can see the way that this is going to be nice and shadowy. Because we're leaving this lit, we want the light to actually affect this. We're just going to click two-sided here, and that's going to make the preview a little bit funky because it's going to be drawing on top of itself, but that's okay. You see, that's very, very funky. Weird. And then we are going to just apply, and you can save that, and then we're going to make the actual particle system. And I'm just going to assign the leaf material to this plane just so that it's on there by default. Yeah. Right click, particle system, leaf_p. We'll open this up, and now we're going to right click, type data, new mesh data. Under the mesh we're going to find the leaf_static mesh. Oh, he's a big one. There you go. Is that material going to show up yet? There it is. Okay, now if you don't place the material on top of the static mesh, then you will have to use this little box here, which is override material, and then go to the required, and under the material find the material that you used. Whoops. leaf_m. Okay, so first thing we'll do is we'll head into spawn, and we're going to change this spawn to a constant 2 because we don't want too many of these. We only want a couple of these at a time. I'm going to go into their lifetime, and I'm going to give these just a minimum and maximum of 30 seconds. I want these to persist for quite a while before they disappear. Their initial size is really, really big right now. We're going to change this to a maximum of 1 and a minimum of 0.6 perhaps. Now, these shouldn't be too big in the world, but we'll see in a little while. Their initial velocity we are going to set to be 10, 10, minus 20, then minus 10, minus 10, minus 20. So they'll scatter on the x and y. Where are we? They'll scatter on the x and y with a slight random offset, but the z is always going to be the same, so they're all going to fall at about the same rate. Color over life we don't need, so we'll delete that. And we're going to right click, location. There it is, initial location. We're going to give this an area where they can all spawn. So maximum of 250, 250, 250. Yeah, no minus for that one. And the minimums are going to be 250, minus 250, minus 250, and then leave the location on 250. So we want them all to spawn high, but at random locations. And they're doing that now, you can see that. Now we're going to right click and we're going to head to orbit, and we're going to get an orbit. And this is going to create like a nice little windy effect, so they're kind of caught in the wind. Underneath the offset amount, under the minimum and maximum, we're going to change these values to be 50, 50, 0, and then 25, 25, 0. Ooh. They're going for it, right? I have a feeling that might be the wrong numbers that I've got written down. Maybe 5.5 and then 2.5. Or I changed their rotation amount. Yeah. So we want to change their rotation amount down. We can probably go even further down than that, because we want these to have this nice orbit effect, but we don't be anywhere near as powerful as it was just now. Rotation rate amount, let's turn that down as well. There you go. Now you can see that they are getting like a little bit of a spin to them, but it's very, very slight. So we're going to head back to the offset here, and we are actually going to increase this back up to 50, 50, 0 and 25, 25, 0. So now they look like they're kind of just caught in this nice draft, as you can see on them all there. Now we're going to right click, and we're going to head to rotation, initial mesh rotation. What this is going to do is it's going to spawn them all in at a random point, random amount of rotation, as you can see. And now we're going to right click, rotation rate, initial mesh rotation rate. Now you can see that these are all flying around like a lot. So we're going to change these down to maybe -1, 0.1, 0.1, with a minimum of 0, and now they're going to get this nice like little flap. So they can all rotate ever so slightly. We can maybe turn that down even more to 0.05. Depends on how windy you'd like it to look. I quite like that. That's quite a nice amount. So we'll save that real quick. The bounds are fine. We'll just set them just in case. And now we'll drag this in to the level. Just raise it up a little bit. Now you can see them falling. There we go. Now they are still a little bit big, so I'm probably going to change their size a little bit. Now of course you can tell that they're quite obviously spawning here, but that's because there's no tree. In a natural scene you'd have a tree and you put the particle emitter inside the actual tree. So they look like they're coming out of the tree itself. Yeah, these are sort of very big. Now you can see that we're getting the bounds issue here. So what I need to do is just let this little cheeky devils play through, and then set their fixed bounds afterwards, once these are a little bit lower. Let's quickly change their size. We'll say 0.6, 0.6, 0.6, followed by 0.3. There we go. Although that's going to remove their playthrough, so here we go. Yay! Not falling. Now, if you wanted to make these look like there's a side breeze, we can go into acceleration. We can give these an acceleration. And let's say we want these to be blowing on the Y. We can say they're blowing between 50 and 25 and 50. And now you see that they're all blowing sideways. Yay! That might be it's a bit strong really, isn't it? It's a little strong. And then we'll give them also a bit of downwards drag. Whoops. I say downwards and then I don't put negative values, they're floating away. Maximum of -5, minimum of -10. And now they'll all slowly fall downwards, but they'll be going sideways. We can see this in the level here, I think. There we are. So just let that play through for a second so we can see them. That's where the bounds ends. So if you're not looking at the bounds, the particles will no longer render no matter where they are. See that they just blink in and out of existence. There we are. If you wanted some more leaves, obviously just increase the spawn rate. Yay! Nice and cool. And they're doing their thing. Now these are going to be flying through the level, I assume. Let's see. Yeah, we can see this there. If we just grab this real quick, yeah, you can see they're flying through the level and persisting for the full 30 seconds. So we can, in fact, give these a collision. So if we right-click, collision, act to collision, and just leave that set to kill. So when they hit the floor now, they should die. So set the fixed bounds. There you go. It's a nice big area now, so we should be able to see this properly if we press play. And now they'll no longer disappear when they're, well, they'll no longer just fly through the level. They'll actually die when they hit the floor, so they should just pop out of existence rather than flying through the floor. There we go. We've fixed the bounds, and these are blowing in the wind. Yay! Cool. And you can see there that none of them are flying through the floor. They're ending, so we're not getting any orange squares that indicate where they are. So there you have it. Some nice falling leaves. Hope that's been helpful for you guys. Thank you to the person that requested this. I did already have a version of this going, but I wasn't using mesh in that version. I decided to change it to a mesh version because now we get this really nice shadowing on the underside of the leaves that changes while they're rotating and stuff. And you just get a much nicer amount of rotation out of them. They look a little bit sweeter. Yeah, so have fun with that one. I hope that you guys can use that, and I'll see you next time.